The Tales of the Magical Kingdom. Tale the First. The Reformation of the Magical Kingdom. Once upon a time, there was a magical kingdom, and in that magical kingdom lived some magical people, and those magical people lived by one magical rule: gladiator pit. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. This was generally accepted as a very good rule because it made disputes fewer and fun to watch. A few years ago, however, there was one person who tried to change the magical rule. "This is a stupid rule," he said. "Where I come from, problems aren't solved with death matches, they're solved with words." So Jimmy the Outsider decided to challenge the rule, and since it was technically a dispute, he was solved in the magical gladiator pit. Jimmy the Outsider refused to fight and was consequently torn to shreds, but it was very fun to watch, and the match is still talked about today. But that was 5 years ago, and there hadn't been any challenges of that nature for years. The magical people still lived in peace and harmony, occasionally solving their disputes in the magical gladiator pit. But some people weren't happy. One of them was named Helena, and, like Jimmy, she didn't like the magical rule either. "I don't like the way the rule is worded. It sets in the meeting. It should be 2 people enter, 1 person leaves. I'm going to change the rule." So Helena went to the keeper of the magical gladiator pit and asked him to reword the magical rule that would be more acceptable and inclusive. But the magical keeper just laughed. "Listen here, darling. I've been keeping this here magical gladiator pit for 127 years. The rule has always been 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. It was like that for my father, it was like that for his father, and it was like that for all their fathers before them." "Yes, but we're enlightened now," she cried. "We know that the meaning woman is wrong. It's time for a change." The keeper of the magical gladiator pit thought about that for a while, and then finally gave her a magical reply. "If you really want to change the rule, then go talk to our magical mayor." Helena thanked him and departed to see the magical mayor of the magical kingdom, Lord Cecil P. Soggybottom. When she finally got to his magical residence, she was told to please be patient, the mayor would be right out. After an hour and a half, and still no magical mayor, she remembered his magical custom. So, she deposited a $10 bribe in the jar marked orphans, and 5 minutes later, she was talking to the magical mayor. And since she was a very forthright person, she cut the crap and immediately told the magical mayor her problem. "Mr. Lord Mayor," she started, "I think that it's about time we change the rewarding of our magical rule."
And why would that be?"
"Because," she replied, "we have moved beyond its sexist definitions. It's time to change 2 men to 2 people and 1 man to 1 person."
Now, see here, girlie."
"That's part of the problem. I'm not a girl," she protested. "I'm 27, I'm a woman, and you need to treat me with respect. We as the people..."
Magical people."
"Right, sorry. We as the magical people have moved beyond such strict sexist and demeaning labels."
"Well, this sounds to me like a dispute, and one with the state at that."
The magical mayor paused dramatically and turned towards Helena. Dramatically.
"You do know what that means, right?"
She did not.
"It means that you'll have to fight the magical state gladiator, Senor Toro Comboca."
The magical mayor stepped back and gestured towards the wall, and out stepped, "Hello, Senor Toro Comboca!"
"This man has never lost a fight in a state dispute."
"Of course not, my liege. Otherwise, I could not be here. Ole!"
"So, do you think that you can take him?"
Helena looked at the magical gladiator, then the magical mayor, back at the magical gladiator before glancing out the magical window to see if she could make a magical escape, and then the magical gun on the magical mayor's waistband told her no, then again at the magical mayor himself, her own feet, the magical gladiator, and finally resting her eyes on the magical mayor's mug. "Yes," she told him, "for women everywhere, I'll do it."
"I look forward to killing you tomorrow, mon chéri."
And with the magical kiss on her hand and the magical red handprint on his cheek, he left. The next day, all the magical people of the magical kingdom assembled to watch the dispute. It was a warm, sunny day. The air was filled with birdsong and the excited chatter of citizenry and the calls of the keeper turned vendor.
"Peanuts, get your peanuts here. $5 for 1 pack, $9 for 2, $12 for 3, and so on."
Finally, it was time for the fight. The magical clock tower struck 12 magical tones to sound to the very nervous Helena, like those of a church bell at a magical funeral. But she didn't have long to entertain such thoughts, for the magical mayor stepped in the middle of the pit.
"Ladies and gentlemen,"
he declared,
"I'd like to welcome you to our latest competition in the magical gladiator pit."
The crowd went wild with enthusiasm. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. When Helena heard these magical words, her fear suddenly left her. She was energized to support her cause or die trying. The magical mayor continued.
"Yes, well, not today, for you see, today's dispute is over these very, words. The challenger is a young lady named Helena, and her opponent is a crowd favorite, Senor Toro Comboca."
The crowd went wild, well, more wild than they had been, as the competitors stepped out onto the beaten-down, blooded-up earth. The magical mayor asked if they were ready. Senor Totocomboca bowed elaborately. Helena merely nodded, petrified.
Then how about Chief?
And with that, the magical mayor ran off the field and into a seat, for the competition had officially started. The crowd began to get wild, and I mean really, really wild, in anticipation of the carnage about to go down. Now, normally I never hit girls. I am not a girl! And with that final declaration, Helena proceeded to beat the living shit out of Senor Totocomboca, and from that day on, the magical rule was all-inclusive. And everybody lived happily ever after, except for Senor Totocomboca, who died of his wounds in the magical hospital, and the pit keeper, who had a stroke when he found that his precious rule had been changed and lived out the rest of his days paralyzed from the neck down. The end.